Stacy is an ordinary American who leads a simple lifestyle. The girl has her bakery, where she works with her best friend, Kevin. Stacy recently broke up with her boyfriend. This gap has become painful for the girl. Now she is afraid to live to the fullest. Stacy carefully plans all the events and doesn't even dare to think about a new relationship. Kevin wants to help his friend regain a taste for life. He sends an application to an international confectionery competition in Europe. Kevin and Stacy receive an invitation, but the girl doesn't want to go. The competition isn't included in her plans and schedules. She refuses a friend. After leaving the bakery, Stacy meets an ex-boyfriend. He is with a new girlfriend, and the couple looks happy. The ex-boyfriend boasts that he's taking his girlfriend to meet his parents. This is an essential step in a relationship, and it hurts Stacy to hear this. She is cunning and replies that she also has a bright, eventful life. So she gathered for a European competition and was just in a hurry to pack her bags. After talking with the former, the girl nevertheless decides to fly to the competition. Stacy, Kevin, and his daughter Olivia travel to Europe. They travel to a small country where the royal family still rules. After arrival, friends go for a walk around the city. They plunge into the Christmas atmosphere of the fair, songs, and dances. How beautiful and good it is. On the street, people only talk about the upcoming wedding of the Prince and Duchess Margaret. Stacy would like to see the prince and the future princess. The next day, Stacy and Kevin go to see the location of the pastry competition, and Stacy meets a former classmate willing to do anything to win the competition. A former classmate soaks Stacy's apron, and the girl hurries to the bathroom to wash the stain off. In the lobby, Stacy accidentally pushes a girl. When she looks at a stranger, she becomes speechless. The exquisite lady is like 2 drops of water. They look alike. The girl introduces herself as Duchess Margaret, the country's future princess. Margaret invites Stacy to the castle. She is due to be married soon and needs advice from an experienced pastry chef about baking her wedding cake. Stacy finds this explanation odd, but curiosity gets the better of her. The girl comes to the palace in the evening. Margaret asks Stacy to fill in for her at the castle for 2 days because they look so much alike. The Duchess followed strict rules and schedules throughout her life. She is soon to be married to a prince. Margaret doesn't even know if she likes the groom. They only saw each other twice, but duty compels her to marry him. Margaret never lived for herself. She wants to feel the taste of ordinary life, at least for 2 days, when you can do whatever you want and not follow the royal protocol. Stacy doesn't have to do anything special, and it'll only be necessary to have lunch with the prince's parents. Stacy feels sorry for the Duchess. Such an undertaking seems too adventurous, but she agrees to swap with Margaret for 2 days. Girls tell each other about their lives, responsibilities, and hobbies. Stacy does the same hairstyle as Margaret, and now they cannot be distinguished. Someone knocks on the door, and Stacy opens it. Prince Edward is on the doorstep. It's not easy for a girl to pretend to be a noble, and she is trying to get rid of the prince quickly. Margaret assures that Stacy is excellent at portraying the Duchess and hurries to leave the castle. When Margaret, disguised as Stacy, arrives at the hotel, Kevin notices that his friend has suddenly changed. She has changed her hair and is not acting as she usually does. In the morning, the prince revisits Stacy. It turns out they have a lot in common. Edward says he has to go on business, and he won't be able to attend dinner with his parents. Stacy goes to dinner with the king and queen. Edward joins them. The girl is surprised. She didn't expect to see him. The prince canceled a business trip, realizing he wanted to spend more time with the bride before the wedding. Such an act surprises Stacy. She is glad to see the prince again, but what should she do now? What if he realizes she's an imposter? But there is no way out. She has to be patient. It's only 2 days. Meanwhile, Margaret tries on the role of an ordinary girl. She tries to make breakfast, but she's not good at it. Olivia notices Stacy has changed. Her father's friend never had burnt pancakes, and the girl forgot their special dance. Adults can be fooled, but children cannot be deceived. Olivia guessed about the substitution but promised not to tell anyone. And who would? Not every day you can spend time with a future princess. Stacy and Edward go horseback riding. The real Duchess sits nicely in the saddle, but Stacy sees the horse so close for the first time. It's difficult for a girl to hide anxiety and fear, and she tries to get into the saddle but falls clumsily off the horse. Edward finds his bride's behavior strange, but her spontaneity amuses him. The prince helps the girl to get on the horse. They go for a walk in the winter forest. Young people are interested in spending time together. Edward notices that his fiancée is intelligent, confident, and not afraid to express her feelings. How could he not have seen this before? After the walk, Stacy calls Margaret. The girl asks the Duchess to come to the castle. There will be a ball tonight, and Stacy isn't ready for such a celebration. But Margaret assures the girl that she will succeed. In fact, the Duchess likes the simple life, and she is in no hurry to return to the golden cage. Meanwhile, the king's aide begins to suspect that the Duchess isn't who she seems. Margaret continues to enjoy being with Kevin and Olivia. They go for a walk. On the street, a strange man approaches Kevin and says that the girl who is now next to him is destined for him in heaven. Kevin realizes that he has begun to look at his friend differently. She became cheerful and relaxed, threw away her schedules, and decided to try new things. And Margaret realizes she really likes Kevin and has never met such a sweet and caring guy. Margaret is fascinated by the warmth that Kevin shows toward her. The evening of the ball has come. Stacy looks excellent, and Edward can't take his eyes off the girl. Young people notice that they are standing under the mistletoe. According to tradition, they should kiss. Stacy kisses the prince, but does it awkwardly. She's embarrassed to kiss someone else's fiancé. The guests ask Stacy to play the piano. For a real duchess, this is not a problem. But Stacy doesn't know how to act at all. Fortunately, Edward sees her confusion and comes to the rescue. Together, they perform a beautiful melody. The girl is grateful to the prince for his act. Stacy calls Margaret after the ball. The girls share their impressions of the day. Stacy admits to Margaret that she likes Edward a lot. The next day, the prince invites Stacy for a ride in a real carriage. Young people visit an orphanage. The girl notices the children have a small Christmas tree and no gifts, and Stacy offers to buy presents and make candies for the little ones. Stacy and Edward go to the toy store. The prince really likes it here. He never had a blaster and didn't play Twister. Stacy teaches Edward how to play, and they have fun together. Young people feel happy. At this time, Margaret, Kevin, and Olivia enter the store. The girls almost get caught in deception. But a strange older man, whom Kevin had already seen in the morning, comes to the rescue. Fortunately, Margaret and Stacy continue to play their roles. Stacy makes cookies for the kids at the orphanage. She treats Edward, and they reminisce about childhood and share happy memories. And the queen notices that the Duchess has become a breath of fresh air for her son. Stacy and Edward bring gifts to the orphanage, and the kids are just happy. It turns out to be the perfect Christmas party. Prince and Stacy find themselves under the mistletoe again, and their kiss looks natural this time. Margaret spends her last evening with Kevin and Olivia. She was with them for only 2 days, but it seemed to the girl that she had known these people all her life. Margaret and Kevin realize that they like each other a lot. They have fun doing ordinary things, watching movies, cooking, and going out. A girl experiences the thrill when a guy is around, and Kevin can't take his eyes off his friend. She seems to glow from the inside. After returning from the orphanage, Edward thanks Stacy for her help and support. The prince says that she makes him stronger and better. Edward gives the girl a pendant, a family piece that belonged to his grandmother. Stacy is very impressed with this act. She kisses Edward. This is a bitter farewell kiss, because she'll disappear from the prince's life in the morning. That same evening, Kevin gives Margaret a pendant. Their joint photo is inserted inside the jewelry. The guy admits that in all the years of friendship, for the first time, he looked at his friend differently. He kisses the girl. Margaret is pleased and hurt at the same time. Tomorrow, she'll return to the castle and continue to prepare for the wedding with the unloved person. Members of royal families cannot afford love, and they're only doing their duty. Margaret returns to the palace. The girls share their impressions of their days. Stacy realizes that she has fallen in love with Edward, and Margaret realizes that she fell in love with Kevin. Feelings like this weren't a part of their plans. Meanwhile, the royal assistant notices Margaret and a girl very similar to her in the window. He takes several pictures. The assistant wants to give the photo to the king, but the queen takes the envelope with compromising evidence. In the morning, Stacy and Kevin go to the competition. Their competitor ruined the equipment, but friends still showed their skills. Margaret has breakfast with the prince and his parents. The queen asks to do her a favor. Today, she has to present awards at the International Confectioners Competition, but she doesn't feel well. The queen asks Edward and Margaret to replace her. Margaret realizes that she's in big trouble. The queen cannot be denied. But at the competition, Edward will see Stacy. Margaret doesn't know what to do, and the girl decides to have a serious conversation with the prince. Stacy and Kevin win the competition. All that's left is to get the award. The jury announces that the prince and his fiancée will host the awards ceremony. Stacy is horrified and ready to run, only there is no time to escape. Stacy and Kevin meet Margaret and Edward. It's time to reveal all the cards. Margaret likes a simple life and hates being in front of everyone. Margaret confesses her love to Kevin. And Edward is ready to shout to the whole world that he fell in love with Stacy. But the girl is scared, such a relationship wasn't part of her plans. What will happen to her measured life now? And how will the royal family react to this? But Edward assures her that they will succeed because they're destined to be together. He proposes to get married in a year at Christmas if Stacy's feelings for him don't change. A year has passed. Family and friends celebrate the wedding of Prince Edward and Stacy. It's worth saying that their feelings have changed, they have become even stronger. It's time to throw the bouquet. It falls right into Margaret's arms. It looks like another wedding is coming soon. Margaret and Kevin are also happy together. The Christmas fairy tale will continue forever for two pairs of lovers.